Attention, attention, stop what you're doing. Because we're coming back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
They went a little crazy with it, and I appreciate it.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
We are back, and we can hear Chicago. It's fantastic. Things are actually working. It's crazy. Right now, the current state of COVID in the United States is we've got a 20% decline in the 14-day change in the United States overall. Cases are going down. Deaths are down 14%, which is good. The signs are improving as vaccinations increase. And as the number of people who survived getting it in the first place, that intermingling, those two groups of people become the dominant group of humans in the country, then we can hope to get a handle on this.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, well, sort of. Until and the question is always, are there lingering effects of having it that that make it important to get vaccinated, as opposed to counting on your regular immunity or like this. I mean, because we've heard stories of people, homeschooler lunatics who want to have measles parties and craziness like that. And this would be a terrible thing to play with when you find out that, you had it and it was no big deal. 10 years later, however, it comes back like a form of shingles and inside your lungs, which is a frightening notion. But currently, we are on a downward trend. The 14-day change is 20% lower, which is a significant turn. 14% as far as new deaths. The world over, those numbers are going down as well. The average 14-day change has gone down 17%. Deaths have gone down 16%. Higher worldwide even than here, which is a good sign. Now, we don't get all the, I wouldn't trust all the information that we're getting right now. But still, fingers crossed, we'll start, things will improve slowly over time, and a sense of normalcy and logic will and calmness might take hold.
That's always the gamble. Hoping that will actually stick.
Well, and the big story this week, of course, is the FBI and the DOJ looking into parents that are, and by the way, alleged parents, let's just be abundantly clear, that are threatening school board members and teachers and the like over mask mandates and vaccine mandates when they come around. And the right is turning this into, well, the Biden administration is weaponizing the DOJ and the FBI against parents who just want freedom for their kids. No, you can.
Parents are threatening violence against public servants.
Everybody, like against anyone. You do not have a right to do that. And it's bizarre that they would think so, because they're not looking into everybody. They're not looking, it's not thought police. They don't care if you're loud at these meetings. They don't care if you're, if you wear like an outlandish shirt or you're, like a bigoted moron, quite frankly. It's when you walk up to a teacher's driver's side window in their car and go, "We know where you live, and we're coming to get you." That's a terroristic threat. It's very, very clear, and that would apply to any circumstance. And I don't know if anybody would want the DOJ and the FBI to just let that kind of stuff slide all the time in every other context.
And you're talking about every other context. These are the same people who are forging vaccination cards, which are government documents.
Exactly.
What other kind of government documents are you okay with people forging?
Sure, absolutely. Like citizenship.
What?
Apparently that's a panic, right? And then, of course, we have, we don't touch on international news quite as frequently as I'd like on the show. But the incursions by the Chinese military into Taiwanese airspace has been ratcheted up over the last couple of weeks. They've had 146 airplanes, fighter jets and bombers, and many times the same planes going through several times, but flying through a corner of Taiwan's airspace is sort of an incendiary push and which Taiwan is taking as a warning. The U.S. and the U.K. now have warships off of the coast of Taiwan. We have, since Biden got into office, we have sent warships through the Taiwan Strait 8 times, meaning we have sailed a boat between Taiwan and China 8 times this year. Marines are currently on the ground in Taiwan training troops. I would argue, watch out for more of that to occur, so that if China wanted to attack, they would risk harming U.S. troops, which is a huge ratchet up. And a semi-permanent installment of, installation of U.S. soldiers there may become the norm for a time. Also, the AUKUS agreement that the U.S. and the U.K. and Australia signed to give Australia nuclear-powered submarine technology, a technology we have only given, as the United States, have only given to the U.K. before, pairing together, and in about 5 years, they will be producing their own nuclear-powered submarines in Australia, built themselves using our technology. Until that time, and this is the crucial part.
Then they're going to come take over.
That's right. Then we're going to seize Australia and not just go over there and show them what a real knife looks like and just knock all the shrimp right off the barbie.
Real knife.
Yeah. That's not a knife. There's a knife, man. Until that time, we will be parking our nuclear subs in 2 ports on the northeastern part of Australia, closest to China, and specifically in a port that China was attempting to lease, and that lease has now been shut down for national security reasons. So there is a lot of there in what's happening in the U.S. Taiwan relationship and the sort of unification push that Xi Jinping is doing right now. And currently, the Chinese they've ratcheted down. I think this is partly due to the fact that we put Marines on the beach there. They've ratcheted down some of their talk. And there was a executive, I have to find out who it was, a former assistant secretary of state, a guy named Danny Russell, said there's very little insulation left on the wire in this relationship between the U.S. and China over Taiwan, and it wouldn't take a lot to spark a fire. And so there's a genuine nervousness about how serious China feels, whether if they don't do it now, when would they do it? And the time may have already passed. We may have already entered into another cycle of kind of standoff in terms of this. But there was here's this Evan Medeiros, who served as Obama's National Security Counsel, said the Taiwan issue has ceased to be part of a narrow boutique issue and has become a central theater, if not the central drama, in U.S.-China strategic competition. Xi Jinping said Saturday that Taiwan independence was a grave, lurking threat to national rejuvenation. Nobody should underestimate the staunch determination, firm will, and powerful ability of the Chinese people to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. He's being very Trumpy these days. He's using the Chinese equivalent of big Trumpy words about this stuff. And Biden, who had met with him, when he was vice president, later said, had said at the time that his dad said, Joey, the only thing worse than a war is an accidental war, a war you didn't want to have happen.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah, exactly. The only way to win is not to play. So this is this is one of those things to keep an eye on. And the interesting thing is there is a lot going on behind the scenes about this currently. the Rear Admiral Michael Studman, Director of Intelligence of the United States Indo-Pacific Command in Hawaii, said in July that it's only a matter of time, not a matter of if, about the possibility of an armed conflict over Taiwan. And China has been saying, things like, does America want to spill blood over Taiwan? Do we care enough about Taiwan to spill blood over it? And that's what they're kind of counting on. And what we've done is effectively go, actually, you're the one that would have to spill blood. We just have people there. So if your attack happens, it will be seen as an attack on us. So there is a lot of State Department gamesmanship going on right now. There's a lot of posturing and saber rattling from Beijing, but it seems to be getting a genuine counter, which is refreshing, strategic countering, both through the AUKUS agreement and both through ships close to Taiwan and boots on the ground training Taiwanese military. So again, something to watch. We got to take a break. When we come back, there's no end. There's just no end to the stories this week.
What now?
Well, first of all, the Arizona zombie lie has now metastasized and spread to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and Wisconsin.
Where, of course, they will spend a lot of money just to give Joe Biden more votes. We'll be back right after this.